table with a sigh he didn't try to hide. I asked him what was on his mind. He said, "Don't worry, I'm just tired tonight." But people don't change tone for nothing, and love doesn't shrink without a sign. He spoke in short, uneasy phrases, the kind that say more than any line. I heard enough to know he's gone, even if he's sitting right here still. I heard enough to carry on, because love shouldn't hurt just standing still. He said he didn't mean to wander, didn't know just what he felt. But apologies that come so slowly can show a heart already somewhere else. I heard enough to know he's gone, even while he tried to make it sound small. I heard enough to carry on, because I won't keep begging for a love that won't call. I used to hold my breath around him, trying not to make things worse, but the truth lands soft and certain when a promise stops matching its words. I heard enough to know he's gone, and I won't break the way I did before. I heard enough to walk alone, because staying shouldn't hurt me anymore. And as I pick up my old suitcase, I finally hear something stronger. My own voice telling me to go. She set his suitcase by the doorway, folded everything he left behind. He asked her if she'd be alright. She said, "I've been alright for quite some time." He looked around for some reaction, waiting for tears she wouldn't show. But she just wiped the counter gently, like she'd already learned to let him go. She didn't beg, not a single word, no reaching out for what had slipped away. She didn't beg, though leaving still hurt. She just chose her pride and walked the honest way. He thought she'd crumble like before, when she fought so hard to keep them whole. But something quiet changed inside her, a softer strength he never She didn't beg, not a single word, because she'd given more than he ever knew. She didn't beg, though her vision blurred. She walked out steady, strong enough to start anew. And the house felt lighter when she closed the door. For the first time in years, it finally felt hers. Stories from the week, but lately all his answers have grown quiet, soft and brief. I tried to start a conversation, asked him how his long day went. He nodded once and looked away, like each word felt too heavy to spend. He spoke less as I held on, listening for the man I used to know. He spoke less, and the space grew strong between the places where our love would go. I made his supper like I always do, set his plate where he should sit. He thanked me in a quiet tone, but his smile didn't seem to fit. He spoke less as I held on, trying to understand what slipped away. He spoke less, and the nights grew long with all the things he never tried to say. I learned you can't keep waiting for a heart that's drifting out of reach. Sometimes silence tells a truth that words could never teach. He spoke less as I held on, until holding on felt lonely and unkind. He spoke less, and my strength grew strong, enough to leave the quiet far behind. And as I shut the door this morning, I carried what he couldn't give in time. My voice, my hope, and a life that's finally mine. I woke up early just to see him, but he was staring at the floor. He used to greet me with a warm embrace. Now he barely meets me at the door. I asked him if he still felt something. He said he didn't really know. It's strange how love that once felt certain can fade so slowly you don't see it go. Love turns high somewhere along His favorite song played on the radio, but he didn't hum a single line. He used to sing it loud beside me. Now he acts like it was never mine. Love turned tired somewhere along the way, wearing thin in all the quiet nights. Love turned tired, though I begged it to stay, trying to keep us standing through the fights. I kept hoping he'd remember how we used to find our spark, but loving someone who stopped trying leaves you holding pieces in the dark. Today I'll say I deserve a heart that shows up by my side. And as I walk past all the things we saved, I feel lighter than the love I couldn't raise.